Good afternoon and welcome. We wish to acknowledge this land on which the University of Toronto operates. For thousands of years, it has been the traditional land of the Graduand, the Seneca, and the Mississaugas of the Credit. Today, this meeting place is still the home to many Indigenous people from across Turtle Island, and we are grateful to have the opportunity to work on this land. We're also grateful to have the opportunity to celebrate the achievements of our scholars who graduate today. On their behalf, let us express gratitude for the support of their families and friends, and for the faculty and staff who have guided them in their pursuit of knowledge. Whatever our own traditions, let us reflect as we proceed through the Convocation ceremony on the many years of effort, sacrifice, and success that have brought us to this time of celebration. In concilium universitates torontonenses vocati sumus. Graduates, please remain standing. All guests, please be seated.
Insignissima cancelaria, praesento tibi hosce scholaris, ut admittantur ad gradus varios, testorque eos quoad omnia quae statuta requirunt aptos ad idoneos esse.
Et profectum huies provinciae, huies qua magnae patriae, et profectum omnium nationum, omnibus interis conjunctarum, Algo exacatoritate mihi etoti, universitate commissar, et mitto vos eguados varios, quorum ura vubisto, et petoco qua ut omnia confictiatus munera ra, et urus gradus pertinent.
Please be seated. My name is Merrick Gertler, and it is my great privilege to serve the University of Toronto as its 16th president. Today, I have the additional privilege of assisting our Chancellor, Dr. Rose Patton, in conducting this convocation. The university is an institution with deep historical roots and many enduring traditions. Among those is our use of the language of the medieval university in today's wonderful celebration. For those in attendance who, like me, are less than fluent in Latin, a translation may be helpful. For my part, I said, most distinguished Chancellor, I present to you these scholars, that they may be admitted to the various degrees. And I bear witness that as far as all things which the statutes require, they are fit and suitable. Much more significantly from the standpoint of the graduating class, the Chancellor then replied, to the benefit of this province, this great country, and to the worldwide community of nations, I, by the authority vested in me and in the whole university, admit you to your various degrees, grant to you the rights, and ask of you the responsibilities of doing all those things which pertain to those degrees. So as my first order of business, I'm delighted to salute you, the graduating classes of 2023, from the School of Graduate Studies and the University of Toronto, Mississauga. That's it, you're done. Warmest congratulations. I'd also like to bid a warm welcome to everyone who has joined us here in historic Convocation Hall. Graduates, today the University of Toronto is formally recognizing your hard work, your accomplishments, your perseverance, and this milestone. And speaking of perseverance, you have successfully completed your program in extraordinary and challenging times, and today's celebration is all the more meaningful for it. Each of you, as a member of the graduating class, is joining an exceptional family of University of Toronto alumni. U of T has a global community of over 670,000 alumni in 196 countries. They are the university's living legacy and our greatest ambassadors. Today, we are also recognizing the Right Honorable Helen Clark, former Prime Minister of New Zealand and a highly respected figure in the fields of sustainable development, gender equality, and international cooperation. We'll hear much more about our Honorary Graduand in a moment, but for now, let me simply observe that U of T alumni serve in leadership roles in every corner of the globe and in every walk of life. They are prime ministers, justices, scholars, authors, community and business leaders, scientists, and professionals of every description. Their endeavors have shaped the world we live in and the way we understand that world. We have no doubt that the University of Toronto's high international standing can be attributed to generations of dedicated and very talented faculty and staff members. But we also understand that this reputation has been built by our alumni, a group that now includes each and every one of you. So to the graduating class, let me say thank you. Thank you for your many contributions to the university while you were a student. And thank you for what you will do as members of Canada's largest and, I believe, most distinguished alumni community. One more word of thanks is in order. I'm sure all graduates share a sense of gratitude to the friends and family members who've helped bring them to this special day. So I'd ask you to join me and the platform party in thanking them with a vigorous round of applause. Let me continue with a request. One of the distinguishing features of our convocation is that graduates come forward to be recognized one by one. You'll be standing on the X beside the podium here for your 5 seconds of fame. Once you've had a chance to wave to your friends and family, we want you to follow the red carpet over to the ramp, go down the ramp, out that door, and back around the hall, at which point you will turn left and quietly re-enter the hall as your peers continue to be recognized. Now, in that spirit, I want you to think of the very last person who's going to be on this stage this afternoon. I believe it will be Mohammed Kashan Zubair. Mohammed, are you here? Could you please stand up? So everybody, remember Mohammed and return to your seat. Finally, let me note that the university is a mask-friendly environment. We ask everyone to respect each other's decisions and comfort levels with regard to health and safety concerns. Similarly, we will forego the traditional handshake, but promise to offer enthusiastic applause as you pass by on the stage. Thanks for your understanding and assistance, and once more, my warmest congratulations. Now, my privilege to invite Professor Alexandra Gillespie, Vice President and Principal of the University of Toronto, Mississauga, to present our Honorary Graduand.
Helen Elizabeth Clark. In the University of Toronto's tradition of celebrating women who have broken down barriers, led societal change, promoted equity, and served their communities, the Right Honourable Helen Clark, 3-term past Prime Minister of Aotearoa, New Zealand, serves as an exemplar of public service and global impact. Ms. Clark's career in public service began with her leadership in Aotearoa, developing major policies in nuclear disarmament and peacemaking across the Pacific region. As an MP and Deputy Prime Minister, she established sustainability as a national priority and championed public health and women's health issues. In 1999, Ms. Clark was the first woman elected to the Premiership of New Zealand. She appointed a record number of women and Māori MPs to the top roles in government. Ms. Clark placed equity at the centre of policymaking, enacting modernisations of the social safety net, 6 increases to the minimum wage, paid parental leave, and recognition of same-sex unions. Her government established climate change and environmental protection measures, launching an emissions trading regime, and working towards carbon neutrality in government. These transformations of New Zealand's social and sustainability infrastructure were implemented while Ms. Clark oversaw steady economic growth, lowered the unemployment rate, and worked in cross-party coalitions to achieve a set of shared goals for the nation. Ms. Clark continued her public service as a global changemaker, leading international cooperation on sustainable development, gender equality, and public health as the administrator of the United Nations Development Programme and co-chair of the Independent Panel on Pandemic Preparedness. Today, she has active leadership roles in such global organisations as the Partnership for Maternal, Newborn and Child Health, Chatham House, Women Political Leaders, the Global Leadership Foundation, the World Economic Forum, the Extractive Industries Transparency Initiative, the Global Commission on Drug Policy, and the Global Future Council on Health and Healthcare. For her outstanding service for the public good, through her commitment to a just, thriving, equitable and sustainable world, Madam Chancellor, on behalf of the Governing Council, I ask you to confer the degree of Doctor of Laws, honoris causa, upon Helen Elizabeth Clark.
On behalf of the University of Toronto, and by virtue of the authority vested in me, I have the great honor and pleasure of conferring on you, as I do now, the degree of Doctor of Laws, honoris causa.
Chancellor, President, and all others distinguished members of the university community present, graduands, ladies and gentlemen. And thank you so much to the University of Toronto for honouring me with this award of the Doctor of Laws degree. As a high school student in the 1960s in New Zealand, I actually wondered whether I might study law at the university. But careers advice in those days was negligible, and none of my family members had ever been to university, let alone studied law. So instead, I majored in history and political studies, and I completed my master's degree in the latter in the early 1970s. Both, of course, proved to be an excellent foundation for the career I went on to have in public life, although I could not have known that when I made those subject choices. Often young people have asked me, what should I study? And my answer always is, study a subject about which you are passionate and which can sustain your interest. Whatever it is, an academic qualification will open doors, both to personal development and to careers, some of which you may never have imagined having. I'm also often asked, did you ever think you would become Prime Minister of New Zealand when you were young? My answer is, never in my wildest dreams. Few women had ever been elected to the New Zealand Parliament, and not even a handful had been ministers when I was a student. But I grew up as a member of a lucky generation, in a society which offered so much security and opportunity to us. We were the post-World War II baby boomers in an era of full employment when anything seemed possible. Our forebears had experienced 2 world wars and 2 depressions that century, and they wanted us to have better lives, and public policy decisions by leaders of the day had made that possible. As well, I pay tribute to my parents, who always supported me and my 3 sisters to complete our education and follow our dreams. Was a political career following a dream? In a way, yes, although such careers have both huge highs and devastating lows. For me, though, it was about contributing back to the society which had done so much for me, and working to ensure that future generations could enjoy the opportunities and the security that I had had. So I entered Parliament at the age of 31 as one of 8 women in the 92-seat legislature. I must say the prospects initially didn't look so great for one perceived as young, feminist and radical, but our generation helped change attitudes to the role of women in politics to the extent that the last Parliament in New Zealand achieved gender parity, and New Zealand has had female Prime Ministers for 17 of the last 26 years. As a Member of Parliament for a central Auckland suburb, my focus was on the basics: social security, housing, healthcare, education. But international affairs had been a big interest of mine since student days, and I was lucky enough to sit on the relevant parliamentary committees and even have a hand in shaping New Zealand's nuclear-free legislation, which persists to this day. Both domestic and foreign policy issues loomed large on my agenda as Prime Minister. There was a lot of rebuilding of basic services at home to be done, and there was a lot of innovation in our social, economic and cultural policies. Responding to the growing climate crisis became a major priority. The defining foreign policy issue of that time was the invasion of Iraq, which my government in New Zealand, along with Canada's, refused to support. And I am convinced that history will record that we made the right call. On leaving New Zealand politics, I served for 8 years as head of the UN Development Programme. What an incredible opportunity that was, to work at the global level for inclusion, sustainability and resilience. These are attributes I look for in everything I do. There is much cynicism about the United Nations and our societies, and the failure of the Security Council to function effectively in resolving conflict carries a lot of responsibility for that. But the UN's development and humanitarian agencies do an incredible job, and I count myself privileged to have been a leader among them, and I would recommend careers with the UN agencies without hesitation. These days, I dedicate myself to the public good through a range of international initiatives, from that review of the global pandemic response for the World Health Assembly, to promoting the health and well-being of women, children and adolescents, championing drug policy reform and good governance in the extractive sector. These are all long-term endeavours. In international work, it's not that Rome isn't built in a day, it may not be built in a decade or two. I look back on a life of public service with great satisfaction and with gratitude that I had access to the education and opportunity to succeed. All today's graduands have been given that opportunity too. But I also look forward knowing that there is so much more to do, and that the generation of today's graduands will be picking up the torch in a very troubled world. The need is so urgent for climate action, for conflict resolution and peace, and for the eradication of poverty in all its dimensions. The challenges are very great, but there is a niche for each one of us in finding solutions. My call then to each of today's graduands is to find that niche for yourself and to be a force for good. Your education has given you the knowledge and skills both to build solid careers and to make a difference for the better for your community, your country and our world. Please make that difference. I wish all those graduating today all the very best for the future. Thank you.
Madam Chancellor, I have the honor to present to you the following candidates from the School of Graduate Studies who are being admitted to the degree of Master of Forensic Accounting. Mira Abu Hijle. Siham Ahmed. William Barbosa. Burnett Buyinza. Omotola Oluwasum Daramola. Inderjot Singh Dut. Michael Ho. Daniel Dinesh Kawal. Georgios Kritketos. Amy Jane Lunov. Chantel Masad. Nada Mohammed. Laura Colby Percy. Priyanka Sambi. So Feng Shu. Joseph Matthew Vanelli. Samantha Wells. Candidates from the School of Graduate Studies who are being admitted to the degree of Master of Management and Professional Accounting. Honorary Amendola. Chao Ban. Daniel Christopher Boland. Tien Jiao Chao. Han Lin Chen. Yi Hao Chen. Lok Lo Chen. Livia Rachel Coburn. Yun Deng. Wei Ying Ding. Kelly Natasha Effendi. Ahmed El Sayed. Yu Qing Gong. Yu Lu Gu. Kai Wen Ha. Kinza Hassan. Chong Yu Hu. Qing Yu Hu. Brian Hui. Han Kang. Jaskirat Kaur. Sana Khan. Paylin Lee. Shuyue Lee. Wenrui Lee. Yiga Lee. Brittany Liu. Binjay Liu. Jingyi Liu. Victor Lichuik. Omar Mahmoud. Javier Singh Man. John Mark Morton. Natasha Palumbo. Jing Yi Qian. Xu Ying Ran. Eduardo Sanchez. Krishna Sethi. Vivian Singh. Jia Xue Song. Awalin Survi Surendra. Uma Fayez Syed. Perzan Viraf Talavia. Julie Wang. Zirui Wang. Yuan Wu. Long Xia. Yifan Ivy Zhang. Siyu Zhu. Yun Yao Yang. Fan Ye. Jia Hui Zhang. Ru Xin Zhang. Dongjun Zhao. Qin Si Zhou. Shizhou Zhou. Candidates from the School of Graduate Studies who are being admitted to the degree of Master of Management of Innovation. Xiaoyue Ai. Adelaide Rosemary Baker. Jaden Blackwood. Farhana Nasir Chima. Kiran Harish Datwani. Isaac Nathaniel Francis. Haman Kar Gaha. Laiba Hassan. William Andrew Hum. Avi Khalili. N.U. Liu. Mazen Tarek Mustafa. Mahmoud Zohair Sabra. Huai Xiu Shi. Philip Manese C. Mango. Jennifer Tran. Yifan Wang. Hui Kang Ye. Tianyi Zuo. Candidate from the School of Graduate Studies who is being admitted to the degree of Master of Science in Sustainability Management, Randa Ali. Candidates from the University of Toronto, Mississauga who are being admitted to the degree of Honors Bachelor of Arts. Farah Osama Farouk Abdulhamid. Daila Youssef Tafiq Abu Bakr. Shristi Agarwal. Taima Al-Haram. Khalid Ali. Cheryl Sarah Ali. Bryn Ava Alpaharo. Akmal Javayat Arshad. Mojirade Alake Atiba. Hayat Awisi. Samra Babar. Rabiu Tahir Bajwa. Hadia Barakzai. Haley Megan Bernard. Neha Baharaj. Shannon Ellison Bogart. Zachary Omar Butari. Jewel Michaela Bowery. Nicole Maria Bozick. Liam Andrew Brooks. Natalia Buchatska. Laura Bitrago Hernandez. Laiba Butt. Christina Marie Casciaro. Martin Kaleb Chen. Yifan Chen. Yi Hong Chen. Hao Tian Chui. Udoy Day. Muskandip Kao Dillon. Victoria Maria Di Domizio. Hao Ying Ding. Olivia Erin DiRuscio. Julia Rose Doyle. Jillian Siobhan Durfee. Ellen Estafanos. David Olowafarinemi Fabomi. Dua Faisal. Hira Farouk. Amanda Mary Fernandez. Anizila Krista Faith Frank. Preeti Gatkau. Marie Amelia Galindez. Katrina Joel Gali. Keanu Gali Ie. Vanessa Emily Grace Ghani. Stephen Long Gang. Misha Goha. Rina Asunve Dogoze. Kaylee Elise Graham. Zakai Gore. Sharifa Hack. Joshua Anthony Jordan Hamilton. Damneen Hire. Noor Hindash. Jame Ho. Deborah C.W. Singh. Preeta Jayanthan. Jayakrishna Jayanthan. Susan Koller. Zain Kamran. Mustafa Kashif. Mohammed Ryan Khan. Kaveh Kohli. Anna Elizabeth Kritsky. Laura Wambui Korea. Sin Kai Lee. Jingyi Liu. Zijie Liu. Thomas Douglas Love. Timothy Look. Ying Chong Ma. Ria Ravi Makija. Mata Maximovic. Sorry? Ria Ravi Makija. Mata Maximovic. Yuri Munikian. Mark Matsiko. Ruth Aliana Meneses. Rania Malak Miziati. Candace Alicia Minot. Paloma Alexia Miranda Ray de Castro. Mahmoud Ahmed Mohammed. Jamaat Mohammed Abdi Rizia. Madison Kyle Monson. Yiru Mu. Mara Maher Mufle. Eric Russell Mustafa. Lily Nader. Lorenz Angelo Avila Navales. Anissa M. Arjun Neba. Jason Nguyen. Jessica Mary Nortri Yanto. Romina Francesca Noelis Kyoge. Katrina May Ohaga. Karen Purik. Matthew Curtis Penn. Angelina Peters. Amanda Michelle Price. Inderpreet Kaur Pua. Safa Ramzan. Trishni Tiana Roden. Nimra Rizwan. Fatma Saeed. Ria Sahi. Gabrielle Rebecca Saint. Anam Hashim Samdani. Relia Jamiela Scott. Pranav Piyush Sharma. Hunter Ryan Sim. Yoo Jong Son. Brandon Sturkach. Faman Samir H.D. Suma. Dean Sun. Hauran Sun. Nikita Maya Talwa. Aiza Tariq. Annika Tasnim. Gabriela Abdel Chu. Kimberly Toribio Ortiz. David Ayabosa Ugobor. Uma Usman Upla. Rishi Vaneshwa. Francesca Maria Velarde. Jacob Ama Vosco. Catherine Lily Vutsis. Haoran Wang. Xuanyi Wang. Michelle Weira. Oliver Kenneth Cruz Wood. Songru Wu. Boli Yap. Maser Zazai. Chloe Lynn Zagab. Tianyu Zhai. Jianyi Zhang. Ningbo Zhang. Qianhan Zhao. Candidates from the University of Toronto, Mississauga, who are being admitted to the degree of Bachelor of Arts. Steve Valentino da Silva. Thomas Patrick McEwen. Ahmed Salhia. Zias Zohail. Candidate from the University of Toronto, Mississauga, who is being admitted to the degree of Bachelor of Arts 3-year. Apneet Sandar. Candidates from the University of Toronto, Mississauga, who are being admitted to the degree of Honours Bachelor of Science. Sarah Imat Abuelke. Ramzi Abu Zane. Yoyanade Modupe Adani. Rabia Otske Aksu. Aida Alanizi. Hasher Ali. Syed Taha Ali. Jennifer Michelle Allen. Reem Amin. Davina Ayakir Omar Kohene. Mario Awad. Malika Baines. Aliyah Gabrielle Filosofo Banawa. Shurjo Banerjee. Hasha Banwait. Syed Zain Basit. Maria Del Mar Bachera. Abby Amarinda Betancourt. Prana Bhatia. Madison Alethea Bialo. Ramneet Singh Bra. Christoph Omario Campbell. Michael Carr. Jungmin Cha. Jose Gregorio Shajon. Yilun Chen. Yiwen Chen. Isaac Cheng. Isaac Chen. Chanul Bing Hei Chow. Gabriella Elizabeth Clayton. Marcus Deo Costa. Krishna Rama Devaraj. Alia Christina Devi D'Souza. Jem Livaza. Daniel Ayoristi Akoko. Rima Khalid Elgak. Nada El Janoun. Nazrite Iyazu. Amara Fayaz. Michelle Farouz. Chan Chan Feng. Abigail Fernandez. Marian Louis Gado. Borhan Gao. Zixuan Gao. Sarah Evelyn Garnett. Vanessa Lillian Janice. Anita Bijou George. Yoliana Gobron. Ariana Jasmine Gold Tasuji. Xueying Guo. Huzair Halim. Erin Ashley Hall. Hashir Haroon. Okay. Nur Razal Hendra. Yassine Hoke.
Let's go!
Zhi Yu Huang. Jessica Rose Mary Yantorno. Jamie Inderjeet. Aya Jabba. Kevin Toms Jacob. Syed Zain Abbas Jafari. Ifan Jia. Julia Grace Jimenez. Noah Johnstone. Shalika Judmelki. Maheen Kamran. Manjot Kaur. Maheen Khan. Mamuna Khan. Ziam Kim. Kishan Avinash Lachman Singh. Juan Esteban Lamija. Gurpreet Singh Lamza. Brian Latchman. Dara Lavasarni. Julia Marie La Viola. Amelia Shobana Lawrence. Sing Yu Lei. Anna Maria Leon. Stephen Lee. Xuan Lee. Zhonghua Li. Yan Liang Lin. Jingjing Liu. Nianbo Liu. Chunkit Lo. Kale Kristen Lo. Chunbo Lu. Matthew Liu. Jamima Loki Firmapa. Han Lo. Brandon Mako. Anil Ganesh Maharaj. Myra Kulat Mahmood. Zina Shuka Mahmood. Ziba Musab Maruwala. Tanya Matharu. Mackenzie Medina. Selena Mlatdanovic. Navni Lavanya Monborth. Manur Naim. Rayon Naran. Alina Nazarova Shamkina. Oselu Menoshan Chenekwu Adige. Karovin Chulak Olad. Tiffany Oliveira. Kaylina O'Neill Robertson. Annie Tatiana Ortiz Rojas. Aimoiwosa Michelle Osunde. Sunny Parma. Jessica Dhiran Patel. Yu Peng. Mariam Kayam. Dennis Q. Ian Fiaz Ramota. Kathleen Nishanti Roche. Maria Rosa Ruchitadawi. Mana Sadiki. Abdullahi Salat. Jasnur Sandhu. Tien Sang. Samir Saif. Ahmad Bilal Shafkat. Mariam Shafkat. Okay. Jakbir Kao Shoka. Vanize Siddiqui. Nonika Singh Singarkani. Pajot Singh Sohal. An Ni Song. Satvik Shripati. Cassandra Ariana Strauss-Bate. Ri Chen Sun. Same Surapaneni. Hamza Syed. Zainab Tahir. Haiyang Tang. Shriya Tanguturi. Verena Alfred Tanus. Kende Amir Thomas. Hong Min Trin. Chris Sin Ran Wang. Hao Xiang Wang. Wan Yi Wang. Sajit Sanju Wamalasurian. Hunter Tyler Wong. Yihan Wu. Angelina Papillon Yap. Jun Yu Ye. Justin Yip. Jansen Yuan. Alexandra Zaslavskaya. Bingming Zhang. Jiating Zhang. Chen Zhu. Jeffrey Sin Yu Zhu. Candidates from the University of Toronto, Mississauga, who are being admitted to the degree of Bachelor of Science. Justin Teng. Joshua Tai. Jennifer Ward. Payam Zarabi. Candidates from the University of Toronto, Mississauga, who are being admitted to the degree of Bachelor of Business Administration. Asha Malik. Rubab Nadine. Arjan Rikraj. Candidates from the University of Toronto, Mississauga, who are being admitted to the degree of Bachelor of Commerce. Emmanuel Barbara Ankiba. Wichdan Awad. Chao Bu. V. Feng Dang. Mariam Makram Fanous. Manavi Jalkani. Amir Karanman. Hon Lam Lung. Mengdan Ma. Vikram Minas. Samuel Olakitan Olayami. Inamika Chuku Gozim Oto. Shurong Pan. Omar Rizwan. Royden Samido. Ray Yang. Yu Tong Zhang. Muhammad Kashan Waji Zubair. Honors Bachelor of Arts, Nora Ayman Mahmood.
On behalf of the University of Toronto and by virtue of the authority vested in me, I hereby admit all those candidates not here present to their degrees in absentia.
As we conclude Convocation, I wish to thank all of you for your participation and your patience. To the families and friends and to those in the procession, let me say thank you. You've made this a more memorable event for each member of the graduating class. Special thank you to our wonderful Chancellor Rose Patton for presiding so graciously over today's ceremony. Thank you, Chancellor. I wish to thank as well the many other colleagues and friends of the university who participated in this convocation, whose names you will find in the program. To our honorary graduate, Dr. Helen Clark, let me just say that you have inspired us with your lifetime career and accomplishments. And this afternoon, you've inspired us once again with your words. Thank you and congratulations. I now invite the Chancellor to bring today's ceremony to a close.
So now I'll bring this convocation ceremony to a close. It's your special day. I hope we will see you often in the years to come. We invite you to stay connected. We will be very interested in your journey, and we know it will make an impact for the better in whichever path you choose. Concilium dimissum est.